Hello guys, and welcome back to Mental Health Mondays. I'm really sorry about last week's video, but basically I decided to take it down after a few of the comments that I was left, but don't worry, I will be doing another video on the topic of medication. But today's video is one that I've wanted to do for a long time. I've had an increasing amount of DMs on this subject recently because it is summer and we're all bearing more skin, and that gets very, very difficult when it comes to self-harm. So I just thought I would give you guys my tips to make life a bit more easier for you and also show you that you are not alone in this. So just a little bit about me, if you are new to this channel or if you're unaware, I have suffered with various mental illness problems since I was about 15. I'm now 23, and as a result of that I self-harm from the age of probably about 15 to 21, and it has been a long journey for me of therapy and hospital admissions and all of that. So the first thing that I'm going to start off saying kind of goes against the title of this video, because yes, it is fine to cover your scars, but I think the first initial point that I'd like to make is the fact that you do not have to. You should not have to cover your scars for anyone. You should not feel ashamed of them. You shouldn't change the way you dress because of them. You shouldn't have to worry. However, that's kind of in an ideal society, and obviously I know that there may be many reasons, people's reactions, your parents don't know, whatever else it is that make you want to cover up. However, I just wanted to start off with giving you guys a few tips if you do feel like you're strong enough to show them, but you just don't really know how to go about things, because you all may be in different parts of your self-harm journey, and some of you may feel more able to bear your scars than others. So what I always say when people come to me and say that they are fed up of wearing long clothes and they just want to be okay with showing their scars if they're going on holiday, or if they generally just want to wear short sleeve but they're just too scared of people's reactions, my number one tip is to fake being confident. Now this sounds silly, but what I found that gets me to a place of self-acceptance in the first place, if you're feeling really wary of it, is to fake it. Fake it till you make it. Now obviously it is important to work on the deeper issues, and if you're not in therapy and you are self-harming, I would highly recommend delving into the issues obviously behind the self-harm first, working on yourself and your confidence, etc. What I will say is that people will pick up on your energy. So if you act confident and calm and relaxed and accepting of your scars and your body, people will act calm and relaxed around you. I mean, obviously you're gonna get the odd person that's gonna ask you questions, but it's not always from a bad place. It's not always judgmental. I find there are a lot of people who have generally never come across self-harm in their life, and they don't even think about it, and they ask you, oh, what's that on your arm? Even if you do get judgmental people, know from me that you do not need to feel ashamed and you don't need to defend yourself. So what I would have is maybe like a saying that you have that you say to someone when they do ask. You can be as honest as you want. It's your body, it's your story. You do not have to tell anyone anything that you don't want to. So I know I've spoken about it in videos before, but my defense mechanism before was to be sarcastic, because then it kind of throws the person off the seriousness of the issue. So one time I was in a lift and this guy literally just goes to me, oh, what happened to your arm? And I just jokingly said, oh, I got attacked by a bear. Now obviously that's not the case, and it's a kind of funny way to deflect the question and to let them know that you're kind of not really up for talking about it. If you are up for talking about it, then I find just saying something like, oh, it was something that I went through but I'm fine now. Whatever it is you want to say, come up with a saying that you're comfortable saying back to people. The most important thing is to act like you don't give a shit, basically, because if you're constantly trying to cover up and you're constantly checking yourself, you will draw more attention to yourself. Another thing I also say to people is that they're worried of triggering others, and yes, seeing self-harm can be triggering for someone who's going through it or has gone through it. However, what you need to remember is that it's not down to you. It's down to that person to deal with triggers, because they're going to get triggers in daily life, on the TV, seeing things on social media, whatever it is, they're going to be triggered, and it's not down to you to hide that trigger from them. It's down to them to learn how to react to triggers, if that makes sense. I used to get a few comments when I would have scars on my arm that it was triggering, because obviously I was posting on social media, and I ended up editing out my scars for so long because I was so scared to trigger people. But I finally come to a point where, number one, I don't feel I need to hide my scars. I don't edit out my scars in my Instagram posts anymore. And number two, I've realised that my scars are part of me, so why shouldn't I show them? I also pretty much most of the time forget that I even have self-harm scars. I used to be so conscious about covering them up, and since I learned to accept them, accept they're part of me and they're not going anywhere, I just, completely forget about them. And sometimes I will glance down on my arm and I think, oh. So second of all, moving on to my tips on how to cover up self-harm scars best. So I'm just going to go through and tell you what's worked for me. I'm also going to give you other options that are out there. But the main one I would say that is the best quick fix for summer, for example, if you've got to go to a wedding or if you're going on holiday and you've got to be in a bikini, is makeup. I used to use Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation on my scars, which is a really, really thick, heavy coverage foundation. It lasted all day. I'm not sure if it's like officially waterproof, but it was definitely waterproof on me. It basically just covered everything up. So I basically just did my base that I do on my face, but on my arms, so like foundation, concealer, and then even sometimes powder. You can also get tattoo cover-ups, which are basically really, really heavy foundations that are designed to cover up tattoos but can cover up scars, and they're also waterproof. So if you're looking for a quick fix, then that is definitely an option. However, some of you may have raised scars, and obviously makeup can do a good job in masking that, but it can't reduce the raisedness? I honestly don't know what the word is. It can't make them go down. There we go. So this is where the kind of topical creams and natural methods come in. Now I'm going to be honest, you can put as many creams and ointments and stuff on your scars, but the best thing to help them go down is actually time. I have found that not much has really helped me in terms of actually helping the raised ones go down. What I will say is that there are methods to get rid of the redness of them, so that is good. But just so you know, in case you use any of these methods and you think, oh, what's she on about, it doesn't work. I mean, number one, everyone's different, and number two, it's very, very hard to reduce a raised scar purely using ointments. My two favourite ones that I've talked about in videos before are bio oil. So this is like their large bottle. You can also buy it in small bottles. So bio oil is just generally good for scars and stretch marks. So if you're in a lead up to a holiday or something, I would definitely recommend using this twice a day if you're just wanting to kind of help heal your scars and just calm them down a little bit. The second thing that I've found is really, really good for them is gently exfoliating them. I've always sworn by the coffee scrubs that you get in these little packets. So this one is from one of my favourite brands, Bean Body, but you can literally use any one of these and you honestly feel a difference straight after because it makes the skin really soft, and I don't know how it did it, but it made my scars less visible. The other ones you can use are vitamin E oil. It's supposed to have really good properties to help scars. There's an American cream called Mederma that they always rave about. I haven't tried it, but if you're in America or you want to order it off Amazon or something, then that is definitely worth trying. Aloe Vera can be good for making them less inflamed and hydrating the skin. Also, my advice for fresh ones would be to use either petroleum jelly or sudocrem on them if you're wanting to speed up the healing process. At the end of the day, the sad thing is if you're really wanting to get rid of your raised scars especially, you're gonna have to go down the kind of aesthetic surgery route. I mean, this isn't obviously a quick fix, but if you're looking for a long-term solution, if your scars really bother you that much, there are things like microdermabrasion, which kind of like grazes the skin and then encourages it to heal again. You can get laser therapy on them. If it's that serious, you can do things like skin grafts. There are options out there. And the final little tip that I wanted to give you guys is clothing wise. I get so many people saying to me that they're absolutely boiling in this weather because they're wearing long sleeves and long trousers because they are just so terrified of people seeing their scars. And that is completely understandable. If your parents don't know, then obviously it can be tricky. I mean, I would always advise you speak to your parents, but I know that that's not always possible. If you are going to wear long sleeves, then floaty blouses are definitely the best option. For me, like floral floaty blouses are nice and light and airy, so you get the breeze in, but they still cover your arms. Tights are also a good one for your legs if you don't feel fully comfortable having your legs out. When it comes to bikinis on holiday, it's a little bit more different if you want to cover, so you're probably going to have to go down the makeup route. Another thing you can do is wear jewellery. I know when I was at school, I would have a load of hair bubbles up my arm to cover the scars. Another thing is, if you are 18 or over, I'm not saying make a rash decision and go and get a tattoo to cover your scars up before you go on holiday, because that might cause more problems with the parents. But if you are over 18, a thing that a lot of my friends have done are get tattoos, and you know, a lot of people have sleeves to cover up their self-harm scars, and then people are not looking at the scars, they're looking at the tattoos. Those are pretty much all the tips I can think of now. If you do have any other questions, then please feel free to DM me. I really hope you found this video helpful, and please do leave down below any other suggestions for videos you think I could do. And I will see you all on Thursday for a new video. Goodbye!